Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 54-year-old female. Now, first thing I recommend is go directly to our website at funeralfunds.com, and we have these quoters on just about every page, and you can just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount, put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies that are going to offer the lowest rates based off your age, gender, and the state that you live in. And you can also call us toll-free at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help run those prices and help you understand what you qualify for. Now, the first thing you should consider as a 54-year-old female when looking at $5,000 worth of coverage is that going to be enough coverage for your final expense needs? Now, typically that's going to be either a cremation or a burial. Let's talk about cremation first. The average cost of a cremation right now in the United States is between $1,000 to $2,000. That's if you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, nothing fancy. If you're going to have some sort of celebration of life ceremony or remembrance ceremony, something like that, in addition to the cremation, probably going to be in the $3,500 to $4,500 range, just depending on what part of the country you're in. As far as coverage, what we would recommend, for that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically recommend around $5,000 to $7,000 coverage. Now, you're probably saying, well, Randy, you said the cremation is going to be $2,000. Why are we looking at $5,000? Well, the reason is our 54-year-old female probably wants to make it to age 64 and 74, maybe 84. And we know that due to inflation, prices increase over time, and we want to allow a little extra coverage just to take care of that cremation inflation costs in the future. And then what it also does is on the front end of the policy, if God forbid you were to die a little bit sooner than you thought, there's a little bit extra money to take care of some other minor final expenses, maybe credit card bills, doctor bills, stuff like that, that if you'd lived long enough, you would have ended up paying those off. So it's really great. Protects on the back end for inflation and the front end just for extra expenses. Now, if you're going to have that cremation and that ceremony, we typically recommend around $7,000 to $10,000. And again, it protects on the back end for the inflationary type increases in expenses, and it protects on the front end just in case there's any other expenses that need to be paid off there as well. Works terrific that way. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. It's hard to imagine that you would walk into any funeral home and they would turn away a check for $10,000, tell you to leave, and you could walk down the street to one of their competitors. But understand, $10,000 in this day and age is not fancy at all either. It's very simple, which may just be what you're looking for. But understand that $10,000 is not inflation proofed at all. That's actually today's cost. And, so if you're looking at getting $5,000 worth of insurance for burial, that's not going to be enough. So why would some people get $5,000? Well, maybe they already had a $5,000 or a $7,000 or a $10,000 policy before that was enough when they got their policy, but now they've been blessed to live long enough that they need to add some more coverage. So in that case, $5,000 might be appropriate. Now, as far as the average cost, again, for a 54-year-old female, most of the people we're helping are looking between like $10,000, $15,000, and $20,000. Because again, at age 54, we're hoping to live to 64, 74, 84. So the longer you're hoping to live or planning to live, the more coverage you're going to need, just because inflation always causes prices to increase. Now, sometimes people will say, hey, I want to get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And then they're on a fixed or limited income, and then they see the price and they go, oh, that's too expensive. I can't do all of that for $50,000. I'm not going to do anything at all then. And it's really, we have to kind of counsel people in those situations, because the reason you came to us and wanted our help is you didn't want your family to, pay your final expense needs. So why don't we just treat this policy to take care of your final expenses and not try to make the kids rich or get the kids any money? And what works really well in that situation is get a policy strictly for final expenses. And then if you want, at some point in the future, we can help you add a policy that's separate for the kids. And that way you've got them separated. It's easy to handle if you decide you don't want or need one or the other. It's a pretty terrific way of taking care of that. Now, one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend those 2-year waiting period plans at all. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, what first day coverage means is that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write out that check for 10, 15, 20, 25,000, whatever it is. It's the best coverage. It's going to have the lowest pricing too. Now, some people would say, well, Randy, you're right. I do want that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health and I'm worried I won't qualify because I know those first day coverage policies ask health questions. To which we say, hey, that's our responsibility, not your responsibility, at least when it comes to the insurance. And the reason we say that is we work with many different insurance companies. They all have different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And right now we're getting right around 90 to 95% of the people we help approve for either first day coverage or benefits. Now, there's some people that waited too long and they have significant health issues. The only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first day coverage is if you had some of those significant health issues, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to live less than 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or you're in a hospital or in a nursing home or something like that. If that were the case, we would typically refer you out to a different insurance company. One thing that also seems to happen every week is somebody will call us up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance. We don't have the money. The body's down at the funeral home. The funeral home director's not going to do anything till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so that we can get a check in our hand to pay the funeral home director. We have to let them know that there is no insurance company in the United States that is going to offer a policy on a dead person. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. And it's really sad that the person died, of course, but it's also really sad they didn't have this insurance and they just by default placed this burden on their family members. They knew they were going to die someday. They thought about getting this insurance, I'm sure, at some point in the past. They just didn't do it. And then they put it off and put it off and put it off. And then one day they just went and died. And now the family members are going to have to pay for this. And typically they have to do that by putting it on credit cards at 26% interest. And they will be paying on this years and years and years. What a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else in right, and you finish it off this way. And what a terrible way to finish your legacy and actually leave a stain on your legacy. So yeah, don't do that. Don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. If you can't afford everything all at once, get what you can afford. We can always help you add more coverage later. Now, one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. Now, Colonial Penn is a fairly well-known insurance company. I think that's strictly probably because they advertise all the time. You know, it seems like they've got a TV commercial running every 7 minutes for that $9.95 plan. You may not know this, but that $9.95 plan is a 2-year waiting period plan. Yuck, right? Yuck. You should never accept a 2-year waiting period plan if you qualify for first day coverage. You would be overspending so much money. Now, Colonial Penn's not the only 2-year waiting period company out there. There's a bunch of other companies, Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber, gosh, just so many other insurance companies. And some of these companies have done an amazing job at convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always go, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Yeah, don't fall for that garbage. So our 54-year-old female is probably just got done watching one of those Colonial Penn commercials. She's probably thinking, you know what? That commercial was so slickly produced, and I'm so encouraged that I can get it for $9.95. I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for only $9.95. And then our 54-year-old female calls and talks with a Colonial Penn agent or looks on their website like we're doing for you right now and sees that 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, is only going to pay out $1,802. Now, that's probably enough to pay for a cremation in most parts of the country, but it won't, because it's got a 2-year waiting period, and it's not going to pay out for any health or medical related cause of death in the first 2 years. So why would you get a policy that's not going to do what you want for 2 years? Yeah, just yeah, don't do that. But let's see what $5,000 would be. I'm going to guess it's between 2 and 3 units. I'm going to guess. Well, let's see, two units, 3 units. There we go. So I guess 3 units it is. But you can't get $5,000 for a 54-year-old female from Colonial Penn because they sell it by the unit. That's the only way they can advertise that $9.95 plan. And it's going to be $5,406. It's going to be roughly $30 a month. So is that a good deal? Well, I don't know. Let's go check out first aid coverage. Here, let's go. So we've got $5,000 here for a female, age 54. Right there. Click the Get Quote button. We're going to go back and look again, roughly $5,000 for $30. Look at what we can do here. Let me show you this again. $5,000 right there. And we can get that done like for $14.10 through this company. We work with them. They're a great company. This says level. That means first day coverage. That's what you want. Level first day coverage. But yeah, $14.10. Would you rather get $5,000 worth of coverage that if you died tomorrow, it will pay out right away and get that at half the price of Colonial Penn's? Or would you rather get their double price policy at right around $30 and have a 2-year waiting period? And you will overpay every day for the rest of your life. Well, every month anyway. Yeah. So you got to kind of think about this. So the Colonial Penn is roughly $15 more a month. So if you go $15 a month times 12 months, that's $180. If our 54-year-old female lives to age 64, that $180 a year times 10 years would now, you'd end up overpaying right around $1,800 more. So you got to ask yourself, why would you ever sign up for a plan knowing that it's going to just keep costing you more and more and more money over time, the longer you live? If you live 20 years, it's an extra right around $3,600. Why would you ever do that when you can likely qualify for first day coverage that's going to be half the price? Yeah, it makes no sense. You need to be an educated consumer. And if you're not an educated consumer, that's okay. Let us help you be an educated consumer. We love that stuff. We'd love to help you out with this. Let's look at some other companies here. You'll be able to see all these different companies. Let's go a little more. Well, here's one like Lincoln Heritage. They are right around $21. I mean, they're a fine company, I guess, but the rates are high. See, well, some would say they're higher than these other companies, but so it is level coverage, first day coverage. But yeah, now the reason it's more expensive is they've got a deal where when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes to like get you the best pricing, maybe do a couple other things, but they charge more. They charge more in premiums. In this case, it's about $7 more a month. So if there's $7 more a month, so $7 a month times 12 months, roughly about $84 more a year. If our 54-year-old male lives, or 54-year-old female, I should say, lives until 64, that'd be roughly around $840. So you're probably saying, that's not too much. I throw $840 away every day, every month, every year, whatever it is. But it adds up, and you got to ask yourself: is it worth paying an insurance company, right around $840 to basically call 2 or 3 funeral homes and do a couple other things that probably only takes an hour or so to do? Most people would say that's a pretty hefty payday for the insurance company. We would tend to agree. Our recommendation is just skip all the frills, go for the lowest pricing. And then what we offer at Funeral Funds of America is we've got a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can download that off our website, print it out, and then once it's printed out, just fill it out. Who gets what goes where, and what you want to happen after you're gone. And then you just keep that with your insurance policy, and then when you pass away, your family members go to that one spot, and they're going to know that you not only protected them financially with the insurance, but emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. Because all they need to do is open that funeral and estate planning guide and read it, and they'll read exactly what you wanted done, in what order you wanted done, and everything. And they'll have such peace of mind knowing that they're doing everything as you wished it to be done, and they will know that you actually provided the money to do that as well. And what a blessing. They will know that you not only loved them in life, but you actually loved and protected them in death, which is when they actually need you the most in your absence, and you protected them in advance. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So we can help you with that legacy. Go to funeralfunds.com. We've actually got a special quota for our YouTube visitors, funeralfunds.com/YouTube, and you can get the lowest rates from the best companies. Take advantage of that. It's really cool. You can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you over the phone. But, if you've got an existing policy that you want us to price shop just to make sure you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you are looking for a brand new policy or just have some questions about what you might qualify for or what your rates might be, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to that day when we can get you the most amount of insurance for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.